There are mistakes, and then there are the kinds of mistakes that don't just change your life, they change your face, your spirit, and your identity. Mistakes that rewrite you. This woman made that kind. And when you trace her story from the very beginning to the devastating end, one question will burn in your mind. For what? For who? And why did she believe she wasn't enough? Her journey wasn't just about bleaching creams. It was about bleaching herself, bleaching her confidence, bleaching her heritage, bleaching the memory of the girl she once was. But before everything collapsed, before the chemicals burned through her skin and her sense of self, she was solid. And that's where her real story began. Many years ago, in the calm, breezy city of Kufu, there lived a lady called Adwoa. Adwoa was one of those women who didn't even understand how beautiful she was. She was the type that walked into a place quietly, yet people still noticed her without trying. Her skin was a deep, rich chocolate shade, the kind that looked like it was mixed with cocoa straight from Ashanti. Warm, even and naturally glowing, she was intelligent, always thinking ahead, always calculating something in her mind. And she had that calm confidence of a woman who knew she brought value anywhere she stepped into. She worked as a banker of one reputable bank in town. If you saw her walking into the banking hall every morning, you would think she was carrying the whole economy in her handbag. Of course, people admired her skin. Customers, co-workers, even random market women sometimes said, "Hey, sister, your skin is so beautiful. Oh, can you share your skincare routine?" She would just smile politely. She liked her complexion, skin. She was proud of it, but she didn't build her life around appearance. Everything was going well with Adwoa. Life was simple, work was stable, her self-esteem was intact. But you know this life, it can be calm today and a tsunami tomorrow. And for Adwoa, the confusion started when one man entered her life and touched a part of her confidence she didn't even know was fragile. His name was Kufu. And the first time he stepped into the banking hall, Adwoa didn't think much of it. He came in wearing a crisp white shirt, smelling like expensive cologne and confidence. He wasn't based in Ghana. That was obvious from his accent. But he carried himself with a kind of ease that made people turn twice. He approached her desk with a smile that looked practiced, like he knew the effect it had. "Good morning," he said warmly. "Please, are you Adwoa?" She looked up, a bit surprised. "Yes, I am. How can I help you?" "Ah, wonderful," he said, still smiling. "Someone recommended you to me. Oh, they said you're the best person to speak with." Adwoa laughed softly. "Is that so? I hope I don't disappoint." "Impossible," he replied quickly. She blinked, wondering if he always spoke like that or if he was just being charming for the sake of it. He sat down and explained his banking issue, something minor. His ATM card had expired. Adwoa asked him about his bank details, and while she typed, Kofo found a way to keep the conversation light. "So you're from Koforidua?" he asked. "Yes, so born and raised." "Nice," he nodded. "I'm from New York, but sometimes I stay in Accra for work. I come to Koforidua where my business forces me." "What business is that?" "Logistics," he said with a sigh. "Import, export, paperwork, stress, plenty stress." "Ha, stress? But you're smiling." "I have to smile," he replied. "If I don't hype my suffering, who will help me hype it?" Adwoa laughed again. She noticed he wasn't trying too hard. It was just who he was. Charming, funny, effortless. Kufu watched her laugh and smiled to himself. "You know," he said, "they didn't tell me you were this friendly. I thought I'd meet one serious banker who would talk to me like a street lecturer." Adwoa folded her arms playfully. "Are you saying I don't look serious enough?" "No, no, no, you look serious," he said, "but you laugh like someone who enjoys life." She turned away slightly, hiding the blush that threatened to show again. She finished working on his details and printed out a temporary card. When she handed it to him, their fingers brushed lightly, just for a second. But something in that 1 second shifted. He held the card, then looked at her, not in a forced romantic way, but with a quiet appreciation. "Thank you, Adwoa," he said. "You've made my day easier." "Just doing my job," she replied softly. "No," he corrected gently, "you've done more than that." She looked down, unsure of how to respond. He reached his pocket and brought out his phone. Please, he said easily, as though it was the most natural suggestion in the world. Can I have your number? So that next time, if I have an issue, I will know who to cry to. She laughed. Is that your real reason? Not at all, he said honestly, but it's a good excuse now. Kufu saved it with a smile that reached his eyes. Perfect. I'll text you now so you can save mine too. She nodded, trying not to smile too widely. He stood up, adjusted his shirt and said in a softer voice, I'll see you again, Adwoa. And before she could reply, he walked out of the banking hall, leaving a quiet warmth around her desk and a small excited flutter in her chest she wasn't ready to admit. Sweet, simple, harmless. Just a spark, not knowing the fire waiting on the other side. For weeks after their first meeting, Adwoa walked around the banking hall with a secret she didn't know how to hide. A small warm softness in her chest. Kufu kept his promise. He texted that night. Then the next morning. Then the next evening. Soon they were talking every day. He was very attentive, funny, and was intentional in a way that made her feel chosen. One Friday evening, he passed by the bank again, not for any transactions really, just to say, I was around the area and I wanted to see your face before I travel. Travel? The word caught her off guard. You're traveling? She asked. Yes, but it's just 2 weeks. A quick trip to New York, business meetings and small family stuff. She nodded, hiding her disappointment. Safe journey. Kufu smiled. That safe journey sounded like you miss me small. Adwoa laughed and shook his head. Please, don't flatter yourself. Too late, he said, giving her a playful wink. Then as he stepped back, he blew her a small kiss and added softly, but I'll miss you. And he did, because while he was away, he called her every day, morning check-ins, random voice notes, late night gists. Even when he was tired, even when the network was misbehaving, he made sure her phone heard his voice. 2 weeks later, he returned. And instead of going home first, instead of dropping his bags, instead of resting from the long journey, he went straight to Adwoa's house. He stood outside her door, knocking with the excitement of someone who couldn't hide how much he'd missed her. Adwoa, open this door, he called out, half shouting, half laughing. I'm back! His voice carried joy and something she hadn't heard before, longing. When she did, he stood there, grinning like a child, arms full of bags. For me? She asked, shocked. For who else? He said, stepping in. Come and see your things. Oh. He had brought her perfumes, a laptop, a pair of fine shoes, a simple but elegant gold bracelet, and a hoodie that smelled like him. You shouldn't have now, she started. Shh, he said softly. I wanted to. I saw things I thought you would like. Her heart fluttered in ways she didn't expect. The gifts weren't extravagant, but they were thoughtful, and the thoughtfulness wrapped around her heart like ribbon. That night after he left, she lay on her bed with the bracelet on her wrist, smiling into the ceiling like a teenager. She was falling, deep, hard, without breaks. Kufu didn't just treat her well. He spoiled her. He was her good luck man, the kind of man whose presence felt like a blessing, whose footsteps carried ease, whose calls came with laughter, softness, and small surprises. Whenever Kufu showed up, something good followed. A gift, a treat, a thoughtful gesture, a transfer, a quiet, don't worry, I've handled it, that made her heart rest. People didn't need to ask if she was seeing someone. The way Kufu cared for her said everything. He made her feel chosen, protected, cherished, like life itself was opening doors simply because she walked beside him. But if only she knew, the same man who made her glow would be the same man who taught her how it feels to dim. It happened on a simple Saturday, one of those lazy weekends when Adwoa and Kufu went to Makola Market just to look around. Adwoa was happy, walking beside the man she believed was her good luck charm. They stopped at a boutique inside the market, a small shop filled with colorful dresses hanging like promises. Oh, Kufu, look at this one! She picked up the beautiful orange dress, held it against herself and smiled. It was vibrant, warm, playful, a dress that could really light up any room. But Kufu's smile faded a little, not enough for a stranger to notice, but just enough for Adwoa to feel. He nodded slowly. It's nice, he said, stretching the word. She frowned playfully. Nice? Only nice? He tilted his head, studying the dress, studying her, then shrugged casually. I just think this color fits people with lighter skin more. You understand, Fair girls, it pops better on them. The words came out lightly, no malice, no harsh tone, just a simple comment, but it hit her chest like something sharp. He said it casually, like he was talking about the weather or traffic. Then he walked to another rack, leaving her standing there with the dress still pressed against her body, suddenly unsure of what she thought she liked. For the first time, she saw her reflection differently. Too dark, not bright enough. She dropped the dress slowly. Kufu didn't notice. He was busy checking something else, another color, another fabric. But something small shifted in Adwoa that day. Something she couldn't name yet. Something that whispered, maybe he's right. The next weekend, Kufu invited Adwoa for a small business networking event in Accra. Nothing serious, just one of those gatherings where people talk, walk, exchange numbers, and pretend the snack tastes nice. Adwoa went with him because she enjoyed spending time with him. She was her usual self, warm, confident, and easy to talk to. Anytime someone asked her a question, she responded calmly. Anytime someone made a joke, she laughed. She blended in without trying too hard. Kufu introduced her to a few people, and everyone seemed to like her. Everyone was talking and everything was going smoothly until one lady walked in. She was very fair, the type of fair that makes people look twice without meaning. She wore a simple fitted dress and carried herself with quiet confidence. Kufu's eyes followed her immediately. Not a normal, oh, someone entered kind of look. Oh. He stared long enough for Adwoa to notice. She had to tap him lightly. Kufu, why are you looking at her like that? He snapped out of it and cleared his throat. Nothing. No. I was just looking now, nothing. Adwoa raised her eyebrow a little. Looking at what exactly? He laughed small, trying to act normal. There's just something about fair ladies, he said casually. They glow. You see them from far. It's like their skin has its own brightness. Adwoa didn't say anything. Kufu continued talking, trying to balance it out. I'm not saying that you're not beautiful. You're black and beautiful. Very fine, but fair girls, they have one kind of sparkle. Colors fit them differently. He said it with a smile, not realizing the effect of his words. Adwoa didn't argue. She only nodded and looked away. For the rest of the event, she wasn't as talkative. She smiled, still responded when people spoke to her, but her mind had shifted small. Not because of the lady, but because of how Kufu reacted. They went home after the event like everything was normal. But for the first time since meeting them, Adwoa found herself thinking about her color in a way she had never done before. Not insecurity at this point, not jealousy, just a quiet question that wasn't there before. About 2 weeks after the business event, Adwoa went to visit Kufu at his house. It was a normal Saturday, nothing special planned. She just wanted to spend time with him. When she arrived, Kufu's car was already in the compound, but she noticed another car parked beside his. When she stepped into the sitting room, she saw a man sitting there. Kufu smiled. Oh, you're here. Come in, come in. He stood up and pulled her close gently. This is my elder brother, Kwame. He's around for a business survey. He will be going back to the States in a few months. Kwame smiled warmly and stood to shake her hand. So, you are the almighty Adwoa, he said. Kufu has said a lot about you. Adwoa blushed small. Hopefully good things. Kwame laughed. Of course now. And now I see you. I know why. You're very beautiful. Kufu has taste. The compliment flowed easily, not forced, and was smiled. Thank you. Everyone settled into the conversation quickly. Kwame was friendly and easygoing, and Adwoa felt comfortable around him. Before long, she offered to make something small for them to eat. Kufu followed her to the kitchen to help, but she told him to go and sit down. She cooked simple rice and stew, nothing complicated. But when they ate, Kwame praised her non-stop. Hey, this food is sweet though. So good, he said. Kufu, you better hold this one well. Kufu laughed lightly. She's a good woman, The afternoon went smoothly. They talked, watched TV, laughed small and just relaxed. Later in the evening, after Kwame went upstairs to take a call, Adwoa and Kufu sat together in the sitting room. Kufu was scrolling through his phone, showing her random pictures Old travel photos, work pictures, funny videos his friends had sent. Then he swiped again and stopped. He didn't say anything at first. He just stared at the photo. It was a picture of a woman, very fair, soft looking, the type of complexion you will notice immediately in any room. Abia watched him silently. She waited for him to swipe away, but he didn't. He just kept looking. After a short silence, she asked gently, "Who is that?" Kofo looked up slightly. "Oh, that's my ex," he said calmly without emotion, but he didn't remove the picture from the screen. Oga nodded slowly. "What happened? Why did you two break up?" Kofo leaned back. Long distance and work," he said. "She was in Cape Coast. I was always traveling. Nobody wanted to compromise, so it ended." He paused, then looked back at the picture again. She was very pretty, he continued. Her skin always sparkled like sunlight. Anytime she entered a place, you would notice her instantly. Adwa felt something sink inside her chest, a quiet, heavy drop. He didn't say it to hurt her. He didn't even realize what he was saying. He was just talking. But the way his eyes lingered on the picture, the way his voice softened when describing his ex, the way he said, "sparkled like sunlight." It pressed something somewhere deep in Adwa, a place she didn't even know was open. She didn't say anything. She didn't ask further. She just sat there beside him, pretending everything was normal. But inside, something had shifted. A line had been crossed. Not by argument, not by insult, but by comparison. That night, when she went home, she couldn't stop thinking about that picture, the complexion, the brightness of her skin, the way Kofo looked at it. This was the turning point, the moment everything began to change. When Ada got home that evening, sleep refused to come. She kept thinking about the picture Kofo stared at, the tone he used, the way he said her skin sparkled like sunlight. She wasn't angry. She wasn't crying. She was just thinking, a kind of thinking she had never done before. The next morning, she opened Instagram and typed natural skin tone creams. She wasn't looking for anything dramatic, just something natural to make her glow small, nothing serious. Instagram did what Instagram does. It brought out hundreds of options, herbal sets, organic lotions, glow oil, scrubs made from things she had never seen in her life. She ordered one small set just to try. When it arrived, she started using it quietly, morning and night, nothing complicated. She didn't even tell anyone. It wasn't bleaching, at least not in her mind. She was just enhancing her skin. 2 weeks passed. Her skin didn't change much, but it felt smoother, lighter. And because she was seeing Kufu every weekend, he noticed small changes before she did. On the third weekend, she walked into his living room. He looked up from his laptop and said, "Hey, Adwoa, your skin is looking bright today." She smiled lightly. "Really?" "Of course," he said. "You're glowing. Your tone looks lighter. It suits you." Just that. That one compliment, the exact type she had quietly wanted to hear from him. And it entered her heart deeply. That was when she decided to upgrade. A few days later, she ordered a full kit, the serious types, the ones Instagram sellers promote with before and after pictures that look like magic. She didn't think too deeply about it. The only thought in her head was, if that small one worked, this one will work better. Kufu will like me even more, and he will be proud of me. The new kit was actually strong. Too strong. Each time she used it, her skin tingled. Then it started itching. Some nights, her arm felt hot. Her neck felt dry. But she endured it because the next weekend when she visited Kufu, the first thing he said was, "Wow, Adwoa, you look different. Your skin is sparkling. You look brighter." His eyes stayed on her a little longer than usual. Just that alone made her forget the itching that kept her up the night before. Later that same day, Kwame came by and joined them in the sitting room. He hadn't seen her in weeks. The moment she greeted him, he looked at her twice. Adwoa, you're getting lighter," he said gently. "Are you using something on your skin?" She laughed it off. "Nothing, no, it's just these organic creams." Kwame shook his head. "Please, stop it. This is not how you looked when I first met you. You're changing too fast. These chemicals are not good for the skin." Kufu looked uncomfortable. "Kwame, leave her now," he said quietly, but there was a hint of worry in his tone. If she wants to glow small, what's wrong with it? Kwame sighed. Adwoa, you're losing yourself, honestly. This is not the woman my brother introduced to me. Adwoa didn't get angry. She only lifted her shoulders slightly. My man prefers me like this, she said calmly. Kwame stared at her for a moment, then stood up without arguing further. The conversation ended there, but the change had already begun, and Adwoa wasn't turning back since Kufu was liking it even more. The creams worked quickly at first, then too quickly, then not in the way she expected at all. Within a few weeks, Adwoa's skin began to change in ways she couldn't hide. It started with itching, then little rashes around her neck. She ignored it. It's just reactions. It will stop eventually. That's what she told herself. But by the sixth week, her face broke out badly. Acne everywhere. Painful, red, stubborn ones. Her cheeks were darker. Her forehead was lighter. Her neck was patchy. Her arms were turning almost pale. And her knuckles were all going black. She looked like three different countries depending on where you stood. Still, she continued. But Kufu noticed, and instead of helping, he slowly started pulling away from her. He stopped coming to pick her from work, stopped calling the way he used to, stopped checking in, stopped planning small outings with her. Whenever she asked, he replied with, sorry babe, work is stressing me. I'm tired these days. I'll come next week. But next week never happened. One Saturday, she went to his house to surprise him. Kwame opened the door. Adwoa, he said quietly. Kufu is not around though. She nodded slowly. Okay. But as she walked back to the gate, she saw Kufu's car parked at the back, the usual place he hid it when resting at home. Her stomach tightened, but she didn't confront anyone. She just left. Another weekend, she tried again. Same story. Kufu went out, Kwame said, but Kufu's slippers were right there in the corner. Kwame's eyes were soft, like he wanted to say more, but couldn't. Adwoa forced a smile and turned away. Her skin continued reacting. New patches arrived. Her face got worse. Her body was always hot. One night, her entire arm started burning like fire inside the skin. She rose to the bathroom and saw her reflection. Her face was red and swollen. Her cheeks were peeling. Her neck was two different colors. She panicked. The next morning, she collapsed at work. Her colleagues rushed her to the hospital and she was admitted immediately. The doctor said her body was reacting to strong chemicals and her kidneys were showing signs of stress. Adwoa was in shock. Lying on the hospital bed, she kept staring at the ceiling, too tired to even cry. Kufu didn't visit. Not the first day, not the second, not the third. He only sent a message. Get well soon. I'm tied up with work. That was all. Meanwhile, Kwame came every day. He brought food, helped her sit up, spoke to the nurses. He even helped her charge her phone. One evening, he walked in and said softly, I told you to stop these creams. Now look at what they've done to you. Her eyes filled with tears. Kwame sat beside her quietly. No man is worth your help, though, he said. Nobody. Adwoa didn't reply. She couldn't, because a part of her already knew she wasn't bleaching for herself. She was bleaching for a man who couldn't even show up for her when she was sick. And that was the hardest part to admit. By the fourth week, Adwoa's skin had started to heal slowly. The swelling was going down, the redness was reducing, the burning had stopped. Her face still looked tender, some parts darker, some parts lighter, but at least the pain was easing. The ointment the doctor gave her was working, but it finished faster than she expected. So one Thursday afternoon after work, she stopped at a supermarket in East Legon to buy another tube. It was 2 months since she last saw Kufu, more than a month since she was discharged from the hospital, and she was planning on reaching out to him. Maybe, just maybe, he had good reasons for abandoning her like that. But as he walked in through the parking lot, she heard a familiar voice, laughing, smiling, holding another girl's hand. They didn't see her at first because they were talking quietly, fingers intertwined like two people who had been comfortable for a while. The girl was dark-skinned, chocolate, soft-looking. Her complexion was even the kind Adwoa used to have before bleaching scattered everything. The universe didn't even give Adwoa 1 second to breathe. Kufu looked up and their eyes met. He froze. The girl he was holding paused too. Adwoa's heart didn't just drop, it folded. But she didn't cry, she didn't shout, she just stepped forward steadily. Kofo! His smile disappeared instantly. Adwoa, what are you doing here? She looked at them, then at their hands still joined together. I came to buy my ointment, she said quietly. She swallowed and continued, still calm. Kufu, you never called me. You never came to see me in the hospital, not even once. And now I'm standing here watching you hold someone else's hand. The new girl gently removed her hand from Kufu's, confused. Who is she? She asked. Kufu rubbed his forehead like someone whose light had finished. Adwoa, please, don't do this here. No, she said softly. Please don't give me that. This is the first time I'm seeing you since I left the hospital. You disappeared. And now I know why. Kufu exhaled heavily. Adwoa, I'm sorry. But it's over between us. Her eyes blinked slowly. Over? Yes, he said. I just didn't know how to say it. I didn't want to hurt you, especially when you were in hospital. But things have changed. You know, between us, things are no longer the way they used to be. She frowned gently. Changed how? He hesitated. Then the truth slipped out, casually, cruelly, like he didn't understand the weight of his own words. Adwoa, you lost your spark. You're not the same person I met. The natural confidence, that glow, is not there. It's not there anymore. She stood still, quiet, steady. So because I got sick, she asked. No, he said, because you're a different person now. This whole skin thing, it affected you mentally and emotionally. And honestly, we are not connecting the way we used to. The other girl looked uncomfortable, even guilty. She whispered softly, I didn't know there was something going on somewhere. Oh. And I shook her head gently. It's not your fault. Oh. Then she looked back at Kufu. After everything, she said quietly. Kufu sighed again, the tired sigh of someone who had already moved on. I'm sorry, he said, but it's better this way. Adwoa nodded once, a clean, sharp nod. Okay. She walked past both of them, stepping toward the door of the supermarket. Adwoa didn't cry inside supermarket. She didn't even cry on the way home. Her body was too numb for tears. But the moment she closed the door to her room, everything she had been holding inside finally broke. She slid down to the floor, back against the door, and let out the kind of silent sobs that shakes your whole body. The kind you cry with your chest, not your voice. She remembered the doctor's words. Adwoa, this cream is slowly damaging your kidneys. Stop them immediately. At this time, she thought she was strong. She thought she could handle it. She thought love would cover the pain. But now she sat on the floor, swollen face, patchy skin, heart shattered. And she asked herself the same question over and over again. All this for what? Like for who? For a glow? A spark? A spark that Kufu himself killed. She cried until her voice became small, like she was whispering pain out of her body. Then she stood up slowly, walked to her dressing table, and looked at everything she had bought. The kits, the tubes, the lotions, the oils, the scrubs, the 7-day whitening miracle, the organic half-cast set, the fake natural glow therapy. She swept all of them into a black bag with one hard, painful motion. That night her phone kept buzzing. Not from Kufu, but from Kwame. Are you home? Please don't stay alone too long. Tell me when you are okay. She saw the messages but didn't reply. She wasn't okay, but she didn't know how to say it. Work was hard the next morning. Everybody could tell she wasn't herself. She smiled when necessary, kept quiet when needed, and avoided mirrors as much as possible. Her skin was improving slowly, but she didn't like what she saw. The girl who once walked into rooms with quiet confidence, the girl who never worried about complexion, who liked her skin without overthinking. She couldn't find that version of herself anymore. It was like bleaching didn't just change her face, it drained something inside her. Weeks passed. Slowly her skin began to heal. The swelling went down, the patches evened out small. Her cheeks calmed. The pain faded. It wasn't fast, it wasn't perfect, but she was healing. And as her skin healed too, her mind softened too. She started sleeping better, started eating properly, started breathing without feeling heavy. She started remembering who she was before Kufu entered her life. Then one afternoon at work, after almost 2 months of silence, the receptionist called her. Madam Adwoa, someone is here to see you. She wasn't expecting anyone. When she stepped outside the banking hall, she froze. Kwame was standing there, clean haircut, calm face, soft smile. He raised his hand gently. I've been calling you for months, he said. You refused to see me. She didn't speak. I had to act like a private investigator to locate your office, he added with a small, shy smile. But I didn't want to leave without seeing you. I didn't want to leave without seeing your face. You're traveling, she asked. He nodded. Yes, I'm going back to the US. My stay here is over. But I couldn't go without checking on you. For the first time in a long while, Adwa felt a small warmth, not romance, just comfort. They talked outside for a while, soft conversation, no hidden meaning. But before he left, he said, You're stronger than you think. Don't hide again, please. Then he traveled, but he kept in touch. Consistent messages, video calls, small check-ins, gentle encouragement. He wasn't loud in her life, just steady. Exactly 1 year later, Kwame returned to Ghana, and that was the beginning of their own story. The end. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. This is how Adwoa's story ended, or at least how this side of her story ended. A woman who almost lost her skin, lost her confidence, lost her identity because she was trying to become someone else's spark. But what she didn't know, the spark she was chasing was inside her all along. Kwame came back 1 year later. Her skin had healed, her heart had softened, and life, the same life that nearly broke her, was preparing another chapter for her. A chapter she didn't see coming. Now here's the twist. If you want to hear what happened next, how Kufu tried to come back, how Kwame re-entered her world, and how life gave Adwoa a second chance she never expected, just type part 2 in the comment section. If I see 10 part 2s, I will drop the full sequel. But before I go, let me leave you with this. Love should not cost you your identity. No relationship is worth bleaching your confidence for. And anyone who makes you feel not enough, he is not for you. Protect yourself, protect your body, protect your mind, set boundaries. Love yourself loudly, because when you lose yourself for someone else, you end up fighting a battle they will never join you in. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you in any way, please like this video, comment your thoughts, and share it with someone who needs this reminder today. See you in the next story, or in part 2 if you want it. Bye.